This is Game Week 25 predictions of the Premier League. Last week I got 2 points, taking me to a total of 115 points. 2 points is embarrassing, but it's not my fault. Teams are not performing. How did Leeds and Newcastle get smoked like that? Wolves should have gotten at least 2 goals, should have gotten the draw. City got, I don't know what the hell happened. Villa lost at home. Forest got a red card and then couldn't end up winning. Teams are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'm having an awful season, awful compared to last season. But it's okay. We learn and we move on. This week, we're going to start off with Leeds versus Forest. So Leeds, in their game against Arsenal at home, they got smoked. Absolutely horrendous game from them. They didn't create anything. They had, I think it was 5 shots, none of them on target. They couldn't handle the crosses. I think they conceded 3 times on crosses / corners. As for Forest, they had a back and forth game against Crystal Palace, which I did not expect. Crystal Palace have not been in good form. And then they got a red card through Neco Williams, and then that kind of killed their game. They had minimal chances after that, and the game ended 1-1. Now, this game is at Ellen Road as well, so I should be expecting a better performance from Leeds. Last game was against Arsenal at Ellen Road, and it wasn't great. But this is Forest. But Forest hasn't lost in 4 games. And I don't think they're going to lose this one either. I'm going to go for a low-scoring 1-1 draw. Next up is United versus Spurs. United, last game against Fulham, they had a pretty good performance. Casemiro got himself a goal and an assist, and Bruno picked up 2 more assists. They ended up winning the game through Sesko in the last minute, and it looks like they have this new never say die mentality, and I don't like it. People are saying it's like they're old United, and hopefully that's not the case. And Spurs, they beat us. I absolutely hate Spurs now. I mean, not now. I've been hating them for a while. That first goal shouldn't have been a goal. That was a straight up foul. Solanke went straight through Guehi's leg. And then Solanke decided to be Zlatan and get a fucking scorpion kick. So Solanke will never get another goal like that ever in his life. And I'm predicting he's going to go on a 10 game goal drought. He used up all his energy, all his magic in that game. But when these two teams meet at Old Trafford in the last 5, it's been pretty back and forth. United is doing good at home this season. Spurs is doing good away this season. Could be a close matchup here, but I'm going to edge United. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to United. Next up, we have Fulham versus Everton. Fulham, they faced United where they had a pretty lackluster game, in my opinion. They nearly stole a point at the very end, getting 2 late goals, but then they conceded their third and they ended up losing. But somehow they had more XG than United, which I don't know how that's possible. As for Everton, in their game, first half terrible, second half they turned up, but still wasn't good enough. Their attack was not as good as I expected. Dewsbury Hall wasn't great, and Jai wasn't great. None of them were great, right? And then Beto had to come off the bench and get them a point. When these two teams face at Craven Cottage, Everton has picked up at least a point in 4 of their last 5 games. So I do believe Everton can get a point here. But this is away from home, and Everton usually don't score off too much away from home. And Fulham do pretty good at home. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think Everton have been doing that a lot recently, so I'm going to just stick to that. So 1-1 draw. Next up, we have Burnley versus West Ham. Burnley in their game against Sunderland. Holy ass, they were terrible, and that was their first loss in 4 games, so they were actually doing pretty good compared to their standards. But now they have lost. And West Ham also lost, but in a more devastating way. They lost to Chelsea after having a 2-0 lead. So decent first half from them. But then once Chelsea made their subs, they just couldn't cope with it. Then Todibos ended up getting a red card, so he'll be missing this game. And the last thing for West Ham is that Adama Traore is a scary guy. But for this one, I'm not going to overthink it too much. I've been backing Burnley too much. They lost here. West Ham have been looking good. They scored twice on Chelsea. Yes, they ended up losing, but Burnley don't have the subs to do that. And West Ham have been picking up a couple points. Todibo is missing. Hopefully Kilman locks in. But I'm going to give it to West Ham and say they win 2-1. Next matchup is Arsenal versus Sunderland. Arsenal, in their game, they played Leeds and absolutely destroyed them. They didn't need to worry defensively at all. Leeds had nothing for them. But their attack did look good, I guess you could say. There's a couple crosses, but they looked alright. They scored 4. Madueke gets himself a goal and an assist. And then they also beat Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. So they're now in the final. They're 1 step closer to getting a trophy. And we are the ones that have to stop them. And then Sunderland, they played Burnley in a solid game for them. Again, they also didn't need to worry defensively. Ended up scoring 3 on Burnley as well. But for this matchup, Sunderland is going to be going to the Emirates. So they're not going to have the ball as often. And or at least this is how I would do it. I would just sit back, soak up pressure. Just park the bus. because you're not realistically gonna beat Arsenal. So, and I do think that's what they're gonna do. Just sit back. And then Arsenal are also missing Saka and Odegaard, two of their arguably best attackers this season, and they're also missing Marino. So no super sub goal from him. But even though they have those guys missing, I still see Arsenal beating these guys. They still have their corners, right? I'm going to go for a classic 2-0 win to Arsenal. Next up, we have Wolves versus Chelsea. So Wolves, in their game against Bournemouth, I do think they got unlucky not to score. They could have gotten a draw, in my opinion. It should have been 2-2. I think they could have gotten 2. But they didn't score, and that is 3 back-to-back games in the Prem without a goal. As for Chelsea, in their game against West Ham, terrible first half. But then at halftime, Rosenior made some great subs. He brought in Fofana, he brought in João Pedro, and brought in Cucurella. All of them got goal contributions. But João Pedro is on fire. He is in great form. Rosenior has unlocked him. He got himself a goal and an assist. But then they lose to Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. But I don't think they'll be too devastated. I mean, some of them were crying, but I think they can move on. They'll be locked in for this game. But when Chelsea do go to Molineux in recent years, Wolves has beaten them 3 out of 5 times. That is kind of worrying, but I do believe in Chelsea to beat Wolves. I'm going to say that Chelsea, again, score a couple goals here with a 3-1 win to Chelsea. Next up, we have Bournemouth versus Villa. In Bournemouth, in their game against Wolves, they performed as expected, right? Basically up to par, getting a couple goals, having a high-scoring game. That's what I predicted, but they ended up winning 2-0. One person that didn't perform like expected is Petrovic. He overperformed. He got a clean sheet, made a couple saves. He had a solid game. And they're starting to pick up more wins. I think that was their 3rd win in like their last 5 games or something like that. So they're picking up more wins. As for Villa, that was a disappointing game against Brentford. Not only could they not score on a team with 10 men, they conceded to a team with 10 men. I think that's embarrassing. And that was their 2nd back-to-back loss at Villa Park. But this game is at the Vitality Stadium, and when they do go to the Vitality Stadium, it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up on what happens. Either team can win, or there could be a draw. Both teams are also missing crucial players. Their injuries list is pretty hefty, so I think they're more in a even playing field. I can see this game going either way, but I'm gonna sit on the fence. I'm gonna say that it's gonna be a high-scoring game once again, and say it's gonna end at a 2-2 draw. Next up, we have Newcastle versus Brentford. So Newcastle, in their game against Liverpool, they had a decent first 30 minutes, and then they completely capitulated. They ended up conceding 2 in like 2 minutes, and then in the second half, it was a disaster. They ended up losing 4-1. Terrible game. I expected them to keep it a lot more close. And then they also lose in the Carabao Cup to us, so they're eliminated at that cup. As for Brentford, great win from them. Great win. Sade did get a red card. After he got the red card, you sort of thought, well, it's over now. At this point, they're going to lose. But no, they ended up winning 1-0. They didn't really create much, and that was mostly due to the red card, but they didn't need to. They defended pretty well. So Brentford had a good week. But when Brentford go over to St. James's Park, they usually don't have the best of times. They went 4 times recently, and they lost 3. But I have not been liking Newcastle as of late. But I think that's mostly due to them facing big teams, right? Big teams like a PSG in the Champions League, the Liverpool, City. They haven't, I guess you can't really blame them, but they haven't been looking too great. So I kind of want to go for a draw. But I'm going to back Newcastle once again. I do it almost every week, I feel like. It is at their home. They usually do perform there, except last time they were there against Villa. Brentford are missing Sade, so their counters shouldn't be as devastating. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Newcastle. I think that's stupid, but I'm going to go for it. 1-0 win to Newcastle. Next up, we have Brighton versus Crystal Palace. Brighton, in their game against Everton, had a good first half. Second half was Everton's half, which ended up in a draw. But I do think they should have gotten a win because of that Mitoma goal that was disallowed. I don't know how it was disallowed. They said offsides, but I was looking back at the footage. I didn't see it. Maybe I'm blind, but I didn't see it. But the inconsistency continues with these guys, similar to Everton. They both are just mid-table teams, and mid-table teams, you just don't know what they're going to do. As for Crystal Palace, they actually played good for once after such a bad run of form. They played good against Forest, and that was even before the red card that they were doing good. So, but they were gifted that goal because of the red card, right? It should have been a goal. Then there was a handball, and then the pen was going to be a goal either way. They have a center back, Riyad. I think he's been injured for like 2 years now, it feels like. And then Ismaili Sarr is back. So some of their players are returning. Hopefully for them, they can go back to their former self, right? But when Crystal Palace goes over to the Amex, it's usually split on the results. But Brighton this season have only lost once at home. So I'm gonna be confident enough to say they don't lose, but I'm not confident enough to say that they win. So I'm gonna go once again on the fence and say that it's once again ends in a 1-1 draw. Next up, we have Liverpool versus City. Liverpool, in their game against Newcastle, they absolutely demolished them. Ekitike is him. He is him. Don't know why they got Isak. He is clearly capable of being the starter. And then Wirtz is getting a lot better for them. I think he got 2 assists, was it? I don't remember, but he was there. As for City, I mean, oh my God, where do we start for City? They should have killed the game in the first half against Spurs. They had 2 goals, could have gotten a third, but somehow we let them back in. We let them back in the second half, and I don't know where that came from Spurs. They had, like, some spirit took over them. We should have sat back as soon as we saw that they were almost gonna go score before the first goal that they scored. Just sit back, bro. We did against Arsenal. Why not do it against Spurs? Spurs is our bogey team, and we ended up drawing. Very disappointing game from us, but we do beat Newcastle in the Carabao, so we are in the Carabao Cup final now against Arsenal. That is going to be a big game, and I think it's going to be influencing the league a lot as well. But for this matchup, when City do go to Anfield, City do not like going to Anfield. We've only won once in our last 15 encounters at Anfield. So yeah, I don't think we're going to win, but I do think we're going to keep it entertaining. I see goals in this one. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to go for another draw here. A high-scoring 2-2 draw. So those are my predictions for Game Week 25. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and peace.